Hello, Team Leader Zhang, you're in charge of BTS choreography?
Ha ha ha, yes, hello.
The release of Jack in the Box album is due in 1 week.
I know. At last, it's actually being released.
How do you feel?
I don't even know how I should feel, haha. First of all, it's too hectic. I need to focus on checking every single thing. Wow. I cannot put it into words.
More, one of 2 title tracks was unveiled on the 1st of July. I was impressed with you alternating between intense and laid back during the music video.
Prior to the unveiling, I was confident when listening to the full track list. I felt it was ready for the world, fans of course, but also for the fellow artists and others in the industry. I think mainly because my sincerity is captured in the work.
Have you checked for the listeners' response?
I mainly went through the fans' review and reaction videos. I came across many reacting at the parts where I wanted them to. Them being surprised at J-Hope doing this, haha.
More was introduced as old school hip-hop.
Discussing genres in detail at my current musical spectrum level is kind of... I just like what I like and don't feel it's necessary to name and define genre to each. I follow my intuition like this vibe would go with this mood, and express them.
We get rock in More. There's also a scene with the band in the music video. So many reaction videos of what? J-Hope is doing rock? I took it as a means to express certain energy rather than you turning to rock genre.
That's exactly right. More was written with intention to create distinct sound and explode at precise points. I like rock, but it was applied more for the need to convey the vibe of the song. I could get asked, how is this old school boom bap? It has rock. Or, how is this rock? Isn't it all mixed? But if you listen to the entire album, you will get the musical tone.
Did you aim to use variety of genre?
There is overall consistency. Each track has slightly different vibe.
Musicians don't like to be pigeonholed to single genre. Unless you're a music critic, listeners will take in the song either as you said intuitively, or through the visual and other aspects. On that note, Arson has a similar consistency to More.
That's right. I knew clearly what I wanted to achieve through this album, and so I needed to be rather strong with the music and visual elements. I placed Arson at the end of the list. It's not common to place title track at the very end, but I wanted to. Just like ending at the crossroad of do I fan the flame or take a short break, and laying bare everything I have felt over time.
You had a clear message to convey. In other words, you will keep on going?
Yes, it's ultimately that.
After listening to the 10 tracks consecutively, I was curious which category they fall into, what you excel or what you like, but this is more like a musical representation of J-Hope at this moment, or, the current J-Hope.
I focused on pouring in all the emotion I had kept inside, over everything else. Then I felt that my old vibe alone wasn't enough to accomplish that. There was a need to go darker in order to draw out all my feeling and stories inside. That was the beginning of this album.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was the motif behind Hope World. This time it was a close self-reflection.
I've been part of BTS for 10 years now. We went through various momentum after that mixtape. All those glorious moments. Then came a point, after so many experiences, it felt like I did a full circle around the world, at the same time realizing the shadow of my inner self underneath the surface. I wanted to tell this story. I've always felt the most important thing when making music is having a story to tell. The story allows for the sincerity in the music and the motivation to work. The moment had come. There is a story that I need to tell.
Where did the album title Jack in the Box come from?
I felt that J-Hope's music till now was inside a box. Then came the stadium tours, speeches at UN, attending the Grammys and the White House. All the emotions that I felt through these stages, they're being pulled out of the box and blowing up. Moreover, Jack in the Box was a motif from a pre-debut discussion with Bang PD as well. You know that my name has the word hope. We had once talked about how I could be like the last remaining hope for BTS, and pop out to surprise the world with that hope.
Why did you describe the past as being inside the box? I'm sure it was a figure of speech.
Probably because I felt my previous work was premature. I'm not trying to write off the past because certain vibe can be derived from a premature stage. I just wanted to show a somber side that contemplates quietly, different to the usual cheerful side of myself. I'm fun and full of energy when I'm outside, then return home feeling KO, and I used to wonder which is the real me. I have now come to terms that they're both me. I've made up my mind to open the box and show more of myself.
Circling the world sure makes sense looking back on BTS achievements. Being overwhelmed and exhausted, that's when you heard the voice from inside say I want some more, thirsty, and right I lit the fire.
Yes, I've always been thirsty for wanting more, and something grand. Even if the flame does go out inevitably, I felt I'm capable of lighting it up again. I realized during this project that I'm the kind of person that needs to work. My heart won't beat unless I'm working. No matter how sleep-deprived and tired I was, just resting didn't do it for me. I wrote the songs during the pandemic when there were more spare time than usual, and I felt this clearly. Time was passing and life went on. I was so frustrated. I needed to rid of this, even if it was from an immature desire.
As a creator, interaction must have taken a different meaning during the pandemic.
Performance is a means of interaction between the artist and the audience. We need to exchange energy. That need cannot be quenched without being face to face.
Many stories that you've gathered from being part of BTS and being through the pandemic must have been an influence.
I started preparing for this album when the pandemic commenced in 2020. There was a period where I had to stop my work due to BTS group schedule. It was from late last year when I devoted fully into the project. That's around the time when we had a short break after the LA concert and the pandemic was easing. I blitzed through for a month and a half. Normally it wouldn't have been possible due to the schedule, but I sensed if I let this moment pass when I felt the surge of motivation, it'll never return. That's why I basically lived at the studio.
Hope World, released on SoundCloud in 2018, was the first work produced under J-Hope's name. It would have been a big learning experience prior to your solo album. What did you learn?
So much. I listened to all the songs that I worked on before starting on the solo album. One verse from 2015. Mixtape songs from 2018. And Chicken Noodle Soup from 2019. In Chicken Noodle Soup, I wanted to show off my dancing skills and the chill vibe of LA. In the mixtape, I could feel the vibe that only I could have had back then. But it was hard to find a consistency through re-listening. I wanted to do this, and that. So I asked myself what was it that I really wanted to do? And make sure to maintain consistency next time. You can tell a clear consistency in RM's mixtape. August D mixtape also embodies Suga Hyung's own something.
There are times when you want to show off versatility and then the other times when distinction and concentration is called for.
Listening to other members in my mixtape served to provide incentive as well as a chance to reorganize my thoughts. My fellow members have always been my best stimulus. The very first person that I played this album was also RM.
Wow, what was his reaction?
I didn't know you will write this kind of music, he told me in surprise. I think he could see that I put in the effort to create a certain uniformity.
You touched on the importance of record keeping. Your mixtape, despite its shortfalls, is an important record of the past J-Hope. Same case with your notes and photo albums.
That's true. I ended up opening my own Pandora's box. I looked through my old phone, saw the photos back from Hawaii, and they were really, haha. But it made me sentimental. There really is a value to leaving behind a record.
You mentioned slump and dilemma during an interview last year. Did that stem from the album's theme of standing at the crossroad, whether to take a break or to fan the flame?
Actually that was when I was in a precarious state. I had played the songs that I worked on for the album to a producer I know, and received an unsatisfactory reaction. But do you know what's funny? Once I went back to the drawing board, creativity spiked up from nowhere. Restarting from a clean slate refreshed my mind. When facing a slump, I'm the type to take head on to beat it rather than evading it. Just do it. Jack in the Box is a product of that process.
What is your favorite personal trait?
The ability to embrace. I think I have the capacity. It could be a trait that I learned from my parents. I know how to take in and accept things. I also prefer listening over talking. I don't find it hard to listen to others venting. I try to take all feedback as an opportunity to learn and develop further. I'm also good at reading the room, haha. That's probably how I could play the role as a bridge between the members from the middle.
J-Hope started music from dance. Your ability to embrace would have played a big role to break through rapping, composing, and writing lyrics.
On that issue, the enjoyment factor is more important than forcing it. The basis of my foundation is, dancing kid from Gwangju. Next I approach with, it's my first time so whatever, let's just try, mentality, and take one step at a time. After completing one thing, I'll reflect on it as the product of a fun process, so not to lose interest and keep on going.
The music you danced to no doubt had a big influence. What kind of music did you play?
Definitely listened to lots of boom bap, old school, new jack swing, funk too when locking to James Brown style, Wu-Tang Clan of course. One of Wu-Tang members' song, Shimmy Shimmy Yeah, was sampled for a song, What If, in the solo album too. Those times and influences naturally formed my basis I guess. When I think about it, this album is saturated with my background.
It's hard to disregard the trend. Did you ever consider incorporating the current trend from the pop industry?
No, if I had, the final product would have been different. I come across a lot of house these days, like the vibe in clubs. From the start this album was about what I wanted to do and to show myself, not about the charts.
Have you started preparing for Lollapalooza? Getting on the stage by yourself without your members will be a test for J-Hope.
I will say this, Lollapalooza will be a challenge. How can there be no pressure? I'm working hard for it and I have a renewed respect for solo artists. Wow, singing live non-stop is no joke. I keep missing my members during the practice.
Did you know about Lollapalooza?
It's an iconic festival in Chicago and many artists that I liked have performed there. I was blown away by Tyler the Creator's stage.
Not long left till the full album release and the stage at music festival. Is it your current desire to be recognized?
My wish and desire are many and varied. I want people to confirm my existence more than their recognition. I initiated the solo album listening party in Lollapalooza for that reason. They're huge events which I was unsure I could manage. I could have performed in front of people who already like me. But music festival is somewhere I could be received impartially. Audience will dance if they're having fun, not respond if I'm no good. I need to put myself to that test.
What if the solo album is not received well?
I'll need to accept that. Was I being arrogant? Did I only do what I wanted? I'll find things to take away from that thought process.
You don't know how excited you looked throughout this interview. I think you might shoot out of the box even before I get to ask you about your dream, haha.
Yes, my dream is right before my eyes. Let's do my best with the present. That's my current dream. I wonder these days if there will come another moment as significant as this.
What will keep your fire from going out, or rather, what will fuel the fire?
The people who listen to my music and watch over me. And a steady state of mind.